Hey Mike, so this is my friend Daisy.
Hello.
And we are going to do some yoga. Daisy, I'm going to use this random thing as a brick.
Okay.
Just for you to put your hand on something.
Okay.
So this month is about muscles, the muscle system, which with a brief outline to you as well. There are 3 types of muscles. There's the cardiac muscle, which is the heart, which is an involuntary muscle, which kind of happens on its own. We have the smooth muscles, which are found in the walls of the blood vessels and your nervous system, again, also involuntary. And then you have the skeletal muscles, which we're going to focus on mainly, which are voluntary muscles, which we have to engage, we have to control consciously. And with that sort of little intro as well, it's not just the muscles. And as we've been working so much of the interconnections and relationships of everything is kind of works together. So when we're talking about the muscular system, we're kind of talking about the nervous system as well. And with that being said, the muscles can't really work without the fascia. And the fascia is this connective tissue that's encases itself all around everything in our bodies. The bones, the muscles, the cells, the organs, everything is kind of wrapped up in this kind of web-like connective tissue. Yeah, it's really interesting. So actually that is the stuff that changes the shape while we move, rather than necessarily the muscles that change length or shape. It's the connective tissue. It provides this sort of sliding and gliding like environment for our bodies to be supported and to move. Otherwise we kind of wouldn't really. So I'm going to do slightly more yin-based moves because I find it's quite a nice way of talking about what's kind of happening fascially and muscularly. Fascially is a word. So I'm going to get you to sit in a nice comfortable seat, and I'm going to put this here because it's going to be your break for a minute. First of all, I want you to close your eyes. Great. And so much of this is about sort of visualizing your body as it is, kind of see it in front of you and feel it as you are right now. Feel that anatomical position as you wrap the shoulders back away from the ears. Let all of the sort of scapular and the rotator cuff muscles wrap down the back of you. The spine muscles, the erector spinae, and the multifidus, these little muscles that come in between your spinal cord, your vertebrae. Hold you upright, make your way down to your seat. There's this broad pelvis, the ischial tuberosities, the sit bones kind of broaden, and you can feel the weight of your body press down upon them. Have this openness across your chest, across the pectoral major, it's all the words, pectoral major and minor, down that chest bone, down the scapula, down the sternum, down towards the abdominals. And let the belly also find its way, find the breath all the way down to your belly, down to your diaphragm, to the lungs. Make it far more about sort of this internal system. Keep a softness in your palms, that the humerus bone, the biceps and the triceps soften down. The facial muscles completely relax, your tongue soften, back of the teeth open slightly so that we get the masseter, the back of the jaw nice and loose. So much of our tension builds into our trapezius and our sort of levator scapula down the back of the neck, down the lateral side of it can be formed from grinding in the teeth. So make sure everything is soft as we take this first move that's going to stretch the neck. So bring your right hand upon the mat here, upon the bolster, good. And you can blink over the eyes if you wish, it's quite nice with the eyes closed. Left palm is open and you're just going to pour the left ear over your left shoulder so that we stretch down the right side of the neck. Nice, and make sure that you tuck the chin very, very slightly so that we increase the length of the cervical spine across the neck. So as we're here, it's that nice sort of trickling feeling as we make our way down, all the neck muscles, down the shoulder, down the arm to the hand. So you'll feel towards the back of the head, the suboccipital kind of processor at the back of your skull starts the very top of the spine. Begins to open, and as that starts to soften, you visualize that back of the head, that kind of transfer into the front of your frontal lobe, your forehead, through the eyelids, through the eye socket, again through the cheeks. And then as you get into the SCM, I can't say the full word, as most people probably can't, but the SCM, which starts right at the back of the ear, kind of crosses laterally and to the side of the neck and connects onto your thorax, your chest. So you should hopefully feel that broaden, lengthen, kind of make some movement here. Keep exactly as you are as this sort of makes its way again down across the chest, around the back of the shoulder. I want you to bring this right hand slightly up and turn the palm to face the camera. So as we sort of lengthen out this arm, the palm faces up and there's this external rotation of the shoulder blade. So hopefully again, you'll feel that pectoral major kind of broaden a bit more and a bit of rotation in the rotator cuff and the scapula. You'll feel your humerus bone and your bicep, the inseam of the arm here, past the elbow, through the wrist flexors and the extensors, all the way through to the fingertips, grow just that little bit longer in length, and it all stems from the very top of the ear here. Again, as we kind of find a buoyancy in the underarm space, in between the ribs, the intercostal spaces, all the way down to the seat. So you'll also feel that this kind of stretch if you also rotate the palm back and forth, so you can rotate it sort of towards the back of the room, all the way around, all the way to the front. You'll feel a really nice bit of movement, obviously, in that rotator cuff, in that shoulder blade. And this will also make its way down the trapezius muscle, down the top of the spine, to about halfway down until we get into more of the deeper muscles at the back of the back, the bottom of the back. Good, and then you can just hold that there and drop your right hand down. Tuck your chin to your chest so that we kind of get even further into the back of the neck, and then switch sides. Drop your right ear over your right shoulder, and you can bring this right hand onto your thigh and your left hand onto the mat to the side. Good. You can do this for yourself here, again, having that nice tuck of the chin. So that's kind of coming down more towards the clavicle, towards your right collarbone. The smallest of differences in these poses make a huge kind of impact and quite a big change within certain places. And you can turn the left palm open towards the camera and think about wrapping the left thumb back slightly more, as if you're giving someone, like a big thumbs up. And then if you tilt the fingertips down towards the floor, kind of again, it has that feeling of trickling down the arm and finding more length in that neck, in the SCM. Great, these sort of scalene muscles, which are kind of down the lateral sides of your neck, reminding ourselves to honor the neck because it is such a sacred part of our bodies. And you can rotate the left palm forward and back, again creating that little bit of motion in the shoulder. And I really like doing yin poses like this where we do add a little bit of movement, because it's not just about kind of holding something completely static. I actually believe that you have to engage the muscles, not necessarily kind of pump iron, but engage those muscles whilst you kind of find that stretch, because really the stability is what's so important to creating healthy mobility and flexibility. Everything here is also to do with the nervous system. Your arm will only go as far forward and back and side to side as the nervous system kind of dictates to it. Bring your left hand down, tuck your chin to your chest, and take a deep breath in through the nose. And then sigh out through your mouth. Great, nice. So we're going to bring it into Malasana. So just bring your hands forward. You can come through a little sort of hands and knees first. So now open out your feet a bit wider, and we're going to come into yogic squat. Good, yeah, thank you. So heels in, toes out. Great. And I quite like to just add a bit of movement into Malasana to begin with. So you can sort of do a shift from side to side, feeling into the arches of your feet. Good. Spread the toes out wide. Great. Holding it here. So now we're kind of working, as there's so much going on with Malasana. You've got the back plane of the body and the front plane of the body opening up at the same time. If we start with the feet, you'll feel the inner arches of the feet want to really kind of lift. Otherwise, if you have a flat foot, then the knees will probably turn inwards. So really push down the little toe mound and also the big toe mound, and feel that the calcaneus, this heel bone, also wants to sort of draw inwards and lift up. So we're trying to get that arch of the foot still happening. Now we're in a dorsiflexion of the foot here too, so that we're going to get this stretch in the Achilles heel and up the gastrocnemics and all the sort of soleus muscles in the calf. So we get a little bit further in towards the back of the thigh, going in towards the glutes and the rotator cuffs, because you've got some external rotation going out here. You'll feel the adductor muscles, the inner thighs start to open, and then we start to get a little bit further up. So if we think tailbone, ischial tuberosities down, those sit bones, and we kind of trace our way up the spine, you've got your erectus spinatus here that comes all the way up towards the back of the neck. They kind of sort of channel up the vertebral column. And you've got your little multifidus again going in between each vertebrae. back of the triceps really start to engage as you push the palms together again. Also, you'll feel the biceps switch on through the power of the palms. And open through the chest, wrap the shoulders back, draw the navel in so we get into the abdominals. So that toning around the tummy, again, is going to help that lumbar spine stop from compressing. And then all the way through to the crown of the head. So that neck is long, again, the little tiny tuck of the chin, so that we have the cervical spine and all this, the scalene muscles, finding their length. Good, one more breath, there you are. Exhale, plant the hands down and then just shift the hips all the way up. We're going to just come into a forward fold. Great, nice, lovely. So first of all, take your hands onto your shins and then just pull the crown of the head forward, nice, and a little bend of the knees. So we can stay here for actually quite a lot of time. So we love talking about forward folds. If I could get you to turn side on actually so he can see you from this way. Great, so forward folds are not just about the hamstrings. So we actually want to start really from this, the whole of the posterior chain is engaged. And as we start from the posterior chain, it's really the soles of your feet. So again, got that even distribution of weight through the four corners of the feet. Well, really, I think there's 3 points, but you know, no, I don't know. Anyway, so as you evenly distribute the weight through those corners of the feet, you'll then want to make your way up the back of the heel into that Achilles. Again, into the gastrocnemics, all of the back of the soleus, the calves, good. Just draw the navel up so that you keep this engaged as well.
Am I meant to have a flat back right now?
Yeah, this is really beautiful. Nice, just sort of like, I know, it's hardcore. And you'll feel, as we go past the, these ones, the knees, there's something, there's the special name beginning with an F and then a C. We'll get into that. We'll touch on that. Anyways, we go past here, there's like a soft bend so that we're not locking into it. Then we get into the backs of the hamstrings, there's 3 on each leg, right? So we want to get that all the way up towards the sit bone. And then there's this beautiful broadness across the glutes and the sit bones here. So as we go all the way up, we're going to start to get into our sacrum, the sacrum, the lower back. Posterior chain has to engage. We've got your lateral muscles right on the side here, biggest muscles in the back. Just going to basically help you lift your arms and keep them sort of away from the ears. And then coming into, again, this sort of midsection of the back, the T-spine, broadness across the ribs. So we're breathing right up. There's more lung tissue at the back here too. So you can visualize that there is so much to breathe into at the back of the body. Good, you've got this. Wrap the shoulders back a little bit more, all the way to the top of the neck. And then slowly bring the arms all the way up. Nice, shoulders down. Great, from there, I want you to cross this right foot behind the left foot. Give yourself a little bit of space, so really step it back behind you and slide onto the blade of the foot for me. So you can kind of slide onto this little toe side. Yeah, so as we're gonna go into this, it's actually working on a lateral line. So that was the posterior line. This is more of a lateral line. So keeping those arms up over your head for me for the moment while I work down here. And as you really push the blade of this right foot into the floor, you're gonna get into more of the fibula, the fibularis longus, right? So this lateral side of the leg, this beautiful muscle that kind of just comes right up to the side. This is then going to kind of sort of connect into the IT band, which is going to go and connect into the top of the glutes here. So if the IT band wasn't there, there'd be no connection for the glutes. So we're making this lovely lateral line. Tiny tuck of the tailbone, I find, and a drawback of the ribs as we reach this right arm up and over. Bring your left hand onto your ribs. Good, nice. So you kind of find that there's this beautiful line from your right finger down towards your right heel, your toes. This left hand here, simply pop there just so that you can also feel each space in between your ribs that you want to get into. So this section before, so from the last rib cage down to your pelvis, the quadratus lumborum, is the bingo muscle right for me here. So you've tucked that tailbone under and draw the ribs in very, very slightly. This is perfect what you're doing. Otherwise, that's just a cue I like to give so that people realize that it's not a back bend and it is a side tilt, right? So there's the QL, actually being the back of the abdominals. So I didn't realize that, but it's the back of the abdominals, but we think of it as the lower back muscle. I love this muscle, but I definitely injured it and it really hurt when I did. So using those also lat muscles to keep this arm up and rooted down, also so the shoulder is away from the ears. You're gonna breathe into those underarms, down the back of the tricep, and squeeze the little finger in so you can towards your head, so we're actually getting into more external rotation of the shoulder. Good, then bring yourself back to center if you feel like doing it the other side. Completely up to you.
Oh,
if you want to. Yeah, no, if you want to do it the other side.
Oh, right, yeah.
To kind of even out, that's totally up to you. there's all these lines of sort of muscle and fascia that are opening up. That we can't just go, this is a hamstring stretch, this is a QL stretch, this is for my neck. It's everything. If we forget about something, it's probably going to suffer. Great. And then you can bring yourself down. I hope that was enough. Probably spoke too much, but that was it. Thank you. Imagine if I didn't record.